All right, now we're going to dive into these two tabs in the middle here, subscriptions and invoices. Let's go ahead and go to the subscriptions page. You're probably familiar with subscriptions already in the sense that every controller in SmartLink has a subscription. Some of them are paid by credit card, monthly or annually, some of them by plan card. The downside of those has always been that there is one subscription per controller. So if you want to pay by credit card, for instance, each month, you're going to get billed on your card separately each month for each controller. If you want to update it, it's kind of a pain to go through and do those in bulk. So we've added some mechanisms here where you can have what we call a house controller subscription that's going to let you have one subscription at the company record level that is administered by anyone who's a billing user of that company and lets you have multiple controllers under it. So it's quite convenient. But before we can do that, we have to go ahead and put a company credit card on file. So let's go ahead and enter that. Now the card is not going to be charged for anything yet because we haven't put anything on there, but we're going to be using this as our default payment method for any subscriptions going forward. All right, now that you can see we have the payment method on file up here at the top, this Create Subscription button has presented itself down at the bottom. Let's go ahead and click that and let's see what we've got here. So what we're making is sort of a placeholder subscription at this point. We haven't added any controllers to it, so we're still not going to get charged, but it's something of a template. So we're going to start by giving it a name that we might use as standard subscription as a suggestion. It's going to ask us to go ahead and create a payment method. So we'll say this is going to be a monthly recurring subscription. And in the subscription type, we have connectivity only, with flow, with warranty, or flow and warranty. Now, the trick here is that every controller you tie to this subscription is going to have this same configuration of connectivity, flow, and warranty because they're all going to be billed as sort of a line item quantity on a single invoice, if that makes sense. So you may want to indicate if it has flow or not up in the subscription name. It's really up to you how to best organize that. So this one's going to be called Standard Subscription. It's a monthly recurring subscription on the credit card, connectivity only. I'm going to go ahead and create that subscription.
Okay, so you can see here that we now have a house controller subscription defined, standard subscription. It's got a payment method, but since it has a controller quantity of 0, this is still a no bill subscription because we just don't have any controllers associated with it. There's 0 invoice items. So there's nothing to be charged, so nothing will be charged, even though it shows auto bill, so don't worry about that just yet. But let's go ahead and see what we can do to add a controller to this subscription. So I'm going to go back over to my sites, and I've got a nice site set up here, and we're just going to activate a new controller on it. I'm going to name this one Controller B, and go ahead and activate. Okay, now you can see our controller has activated, but we need to enter payment for it. Now, you're probably used to the first 3 options here, temporary activation, plan card, and to purchase service in a one-to-one subscription, or we'd have one subscription for just this controller. Now we have a 4th option to add it to our house subscription. So we don't need to enter any new payment information. We can just select the subscription and hit Attach to Subscription. Just like that, now the controller has been added to that subscription. We didn't need to enter any more information, and it's ready to go. No worrying about a temporary activation, then circling back later to enter a plan card or enter credit card information. This thing's active, it's on a recurring subscription, and it's going to keep going until you delete the controller or cancel the subscription. So let's go back over to our company page, and let's see what that looks like. Let's go to Subscriptions. You can see now that we have a controller count of 1, which is going to tell us that this is now active. There's something going on this subscription, and it's being billed. So we can dive into the specific subscription by clicking the name there. And you'll see that when we started it, it says an invoice paid for $0, but obviously that means nothing got charged. And then we made an invoice adjustment here, which was adding controller B to this subscription. So now it's ready to go, and it's going to keep billing for us. There is one more thing to note here when using house subscriptions that's going to seem a little odd at first. We have this invoices tab, but you see we haven't actually gotten any invoices yet. So what's going to happen is that when we initially created the subscription, we had a $0 invoice created, so obviously we had no invoice generated. Now, when we added the invoiced adjustment, what's going to happen here is that we want to maintain this November 16 billing interval. So it's going to actually prorate the value of the subscription to the next month's billing. So essentially what's going to happen is that this $18, that's essentially 100% of the billing period being prorated to the next month. What that's going to mean is if we came in 2 more weeks, halfway through that billing period and added a second controller, it would get $9 added as an invoiced adjustment to get it trued up to next month's on the 16th, which of course would be December 16th, to get it trued up to that renewal date. So what will happen is the first month you're not going to get charged for anything, and then in this case, 1 month from the first date of creation on December 16th, you're going to get charged that $18 plus the $18 for the next month paid in advance. So when you add this, it may look in this situation that you're going to get billed $36 on December 16th. That's not a double bill. What it is because you were paying for the prorated time in November plus then prepaying for December. Likewise, as I said, if you added one halfway through the month, you would pay that prorated time on the next invoice plus prepay the next month's service. So the first month after you create one, the billing amount may look a little bit odd because depending how many controllers you added to your subscription, that invoice is going to include prorations for all of them that may not be exactly even because you may have added them throughout the month. But then after that, they're all going to sync up on this 16th of the month or whatever day it is for you, and they're all going to get billed on the same day of the month, and it's going to be very regular after that. So once that happens, you'll be able to see the invoices under the Invoice tab here. Or since this is a company subscription, a house subscription, you'll also be able to come up here under the Invoices tab, under your company record, and see the invoices for all the house controller subscriptions that you have all in one place. So once those start coming through, that's where you'll find them. You'll be able to download them as a PDF. The last thing to note is that in company records, there are some new products that we are working on that will be available. Instead of being billed as a controller item like connectivity, they'll be billed by the number of users that are on your account. And when you purchase those products, you will see the user count times a certain dollar value each month charged for you if you want to use them. And every user in your company will have access to those products. So look for future videos on those topics for each of the products as they become available. But there's going to be a nice area of growth for us, and we have a lot of exciting things coming your way. If you found this video to be useful, please take a moment to subscribe to our YouTube channel. This will keep you up to date with all the latest promotional and training materials that we produce here at Weathermatic.